Hey, what's going on everyone? Hawks21 here, back with another Splinterlands video. So this is the first time I've checked in since the Rebellion pre-sale, and we got our packs, obviously. We still have a little over 220,000 packs left. So plenty of time, slowly but surely, sort of stuff's coming off every single day. One interesting thing, if you look at the leaderboard here, I was very surprised. Hawkspot, which is the account I ran my bulk buy through, is sitting in 5th place with our 5,600 plus packs that we picked up, and currently would be able to create a summoner. Now, I'm going to make a separate video on this. Obviously, if it stays this low, other parties here are going to invest a bit more for the opportunity to create a summoner. So what I'm doing is I'm running a second bulk buy. Again, I will make a second video about this. We have time to run it. We still have almost half of the pack still left. I'm monitoring this closely. But we're going to put in a second buy with the goal of sort of locking in one of these spots. And if you do participate, you will be able to participate in the experience of creating a summoner. So everyone who's involved in the bulk buy will be involved in the creative process. This isn't going to be me sort of doing it all by myself. You guys would all be involved. So anything, I'd presume I would be working directly with Splinterlands, and I would then give all of that information to you guys. We would hold votes. You'll all be an intimate part of the creating a summoner process. Again, I'll have specific details, but for now, if you want to join our second bulk buy and have the chance of helping to create a summoner, come into my Discord and say, hey, I'm interested in the second bulk buy, and I will give you all of the details. Okay, that is not why we are here though. We spent so much time talking about the Rebellion presale that we missed probably the biggest part of the announcement. The battles within Splinterlands are going to change forever. Forever. There are huge changes coming. So, this is sort of the high level changes we're talking about. All of the summoners, except for the dragon, all of the main summoners, so the 5 rares, will be dual element summoners. Now, this is a little bit different than, we had a dual element card, right? Zeriel, who can be played with life or death. This is a dual element summoner. And how that's going to work is you're going to have access to both of the monsters, both elements. So the example they give here is water and death. If you pick the water death summoner, you are going to get access to water and death cards and can play them simultaneously. That is crazy. That is going to be a whole different aspect of the game. So these new dual element summoners will typically come with a mana cost higher than their single element counterparts. So players need to decide whether or not it is worth spending the extra mana to have a larger card pool available to draw from. I think this is a cool part. In battles with very restrictive rule sets, dual element summoners may be a no-brainer, but in more open rule sets, it may be better to have extra mana for the rest of your team. It is up to you to decide. So I'm sure at this point we've all had battles where it's evens only, magic only, Little League, right? Where you're going to have 3 cards in each splinter to pick. So more likely than not, it's going to end up in a draw because there's 1 or 2 optimal plays. This would provide you an opportunity to bring one of these dual element summoners out and be able to combine in super restrictive rule sets. So I've complained about that before, how some of the rule sets are too restrictive. This would provide you an option to get around some of that. So some of the archery only, magic only, melee only, and then you add on some additional things on top of that sort of take away or limit some of the cards you can play. Having these dual element summoners is going to be a huge bonus for that. So that's number one. And I don't even know if that's the biggest thing. The second is ability choice and targeting options. So once both teams are revealed on the battlefield, you can determine which summoner ability to apply. So I'll show that in a second. Will you buff your team or debuff your enemy? Target options. Buff your tank or your sneak unit in the rear, or would it be better to buff your entire team? The choice of yours, but hurry, the clock is ticking. So I'm going to bring you down to this part down here. There's now going to be a tactic stage after you enter the battle. And as you can see here, you can either, this summoner, this is a sample summoner, this isn't a real summoner, is going to have the choice between adding armor to 1. If you click right here, you'll see that there's only one person here. Add armor to 1 card, or to debuff range of an entire team. So in this specific case, looks like about 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds to choose if you want to give shield to 1 card or debuff range. So here, if we look quickly, you'll see, oh, they have 1 range card. And then is there a monster that we could give shield? That would be awesome. Yeah. What if we gave the sneak defender shield here? So we'll be nerfing the melee. So this will be down to 2, down to 2. Then if we give the shield here, both of these sneak cards will only be able to do 1 damage to the back line. That's pretty interesting. So in this case, right off the bat, that's probably where I would lean. I don't want to take away 1 range from back here. We're going to eliminate that monster really, really quickly with the Pellicore. But if we give this card here shield, we're going to hammer their ability to attack us. Right? Instead of doing 2 once they get the nerf, they're only going to be able to hit for 1 in the back here. And they'll eventually land a poison, but even with this triage, it's going to take a long time for them to get through this card, and our damage dealers will be able to go to work a bit on their back line. So that's going to change the game. It's going to be much, much, much more difficult now for, specifically at the higher levels. It's just going to create another layer of skill, right? So for those of you who think RNG is too big of part of the game, there's still going to be a lot of RNG, don't get me wrong, but this is an extra layer that's going to take some of that RNG away. It's another skill layer where, your understanding of the tactics, your understanding of the game could set you apart from your opponent. One other cool thing, I want to read this. Here we go. To make things even more interesting, if the enemy team features some units with the force field ability, it may even be better to apply the -1 ranged attack to your own team in order to get their attacks below 5 damage. So that's really interesting. So think about the times where you have the bear up front with force field, or the slip spawn with earth in the back with force field, and you just see your 5 range damage or your 5 melee damage hitting the front. You could decrease it on your side to be able to eliminate a force-filled monster faster. There's just going to be a whole range of new tactics and strategies that pop up between being able to combine splinters, choice of ability, choice of where it goes. Now, if this sounds familiar to you, that is because right here, some of you may also know that this new mechanic seems similar to what we have been planning for the item and spell cards that will eventually be produced through the Secret of Praetoria land expansion, and you would be correct. The same system of making choices post-team reveal is planned to be used for item and spell cards in the future, and this new Summoner Tactics menu will give players an early taste of what spells and items will be like and how they will completely redefine the way Splinterlands battles are played. So I love this, right? Instead of giving us items and spells and all of this stuff all at once and sort of completely flipping the game on its head, you could argue that this is happening right now, but it's a much more controlled version of that. It's with a specific type of summoner that you don't have to use, but if you want to use, can give you some extra flexibility. And right now, they just say here for tournaments and brawls where, the battles aren't happening at once, right? So I submit my team and my opponent might not submit their team for an hour. These summoners, you have to pick right away. So, in this case, you wouldn't be able to see here this situation. You'd have to pick beforehand. They're saying later on they're going to change that, and there's going to be a second phase for post-team reveal decisions. But for now, when it's just the summoners, you're going to have to pick beforehand. So it's not going to be as cool for brawls and tournaments right from the jump. But for our regular ranked play, this is pretty groundbreaking. I'm very excited about this, just to wrap it up. Something fresh, something new for the game. We've been talking about upgrading the gameplay for a long time, and it's here. You know, they've made big changes to make the game more fun, more interesting. We're moving away from, you know, a borderline auto battler, right? Like right now we have some control over the teams we put out and their strategy there. So it's not just a straight auto battler. But we're moving even further away from that, where strategy and skill is more likely to win out than just random RNG. So I'm excited. I hope you are too. Let me know your thoughts in the comments of this video. I certainly want to hear them. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day, and I will see you around the game.